So I'll give everybody a couple of minutes to get in here. I know it's Friday night. Usually these streams are a little uh, less populated. Everyone's hopefully at least some of you guys are getting out of the damn house. No, I can't talk shit. I'm just sitting at the house myself. Still holding the little runners on this Bitcoin short. I'll laugh if this was the little UTAD. I think that I know that kind of unpopular opinion, but until we get above close a high above the swing high, I'm gonna still be short bias. Like if we do push up and come to this area. So with this trade, we already cleared 20R. I didn't take it in full. Made. It was the only trade I took in crypto this week. But I'm gonna laugh if I'll be surprised if it just wicked that close and then just drops. But I will say, it doesn't look too hot. Like, yeah, 15 minutes bullish, but unless we start to close candles above, because we've kind of just been liquidity rating. It seems like um, failing to close candles. But I will say everything looks pretty strong, like at this level we're at, and it's the weekend, so you'll see a lot of um, crazy price action. There's less retail liquidity, so there's going to be a lot more of the algorithm just manipulating the fuck out of price. So yeah, where it sits, I'm just kind of chilling because we hit that one trade, and that's the beauty of having that high risk to reward. You don't need to trade every day, and you don't need to really chase after stuff. But um, if this gets back, goes back above our position, I'll wait till price returns up to probably this level right here or the level above it. I'm going to set an alarm for that. I'm kind of just studying price at this point. I'm not really forcing anything. Um, there was AVAX. I know I've been talking shit about not trading alts, but I will say AVAX looks fucking beautiful on the 4 hour. If we can come back into this zone right here and clean out these equal lows. But the only thing is, though, with that, this daily pullback, I need to refresh this chart. It's been a while. This is all old TA. The thing is, whenever we're looking at price, we're playing these relief bounces. Relief bounces in bear markets are some of the fucking most crazy pumps you'll see. Like that's 100% true, but they also end very quickly and abruptly. And once they end, sometimes trying to get in on the, you know, when we retrace and you think we're going to continue, you might have just been playing the bigger part of a higher time frame move. But because at the end of the day, when I'm looking at price, like on the daily chart, how do we determine the daily pullbacks begun? Well, right there. That was our daily change of character. So, where are we going to pull back to? You could look at POIs and a premium. We've got a fair value gap there. I'm not really a huge fan of using just fair value gaps. I like using supply and demand with them. That being said, really your zone would be kind of like up in this range. Also, it's an optimal trade entry. So who knows? You could push. Oh, what the fuck? There we go. You could push all the way back up in here. It's a stretch to say that, yeah, because a lot of times you won't pull back all the way into a premium. Like for instance, um, with this price swing, I don't think we did. Yeah, it did not. It came close, but it didn't. And if you're really bearish, as soon as price returns to equilibrium, you'll usually move away from it. Same thing if you're really bullish. You know, like if we look in history, we can probably find a few examples of this. Yeah, like right here. Price right into premium, took off and never looked back. But what was that equilibrium? We had some kind of demand down in here, probably in this wick. So depending on how strong our institutional order flow is, that's where you'll start to see that kind of kick in. I will say with AVAX, you did come into this weekly demand zone. I wanted 13 bucks. I wanted this candle down there, but this theoretically is that internal range before liftoff. So you did come into this zone. I will say I'm never really a big fan when you tap really high time frame ranges, like just like that. It's not like you're really digging into that demand. So if we go to the daily, we go back over here though. The key, whenever you're using like a weekly chart or monthly chart or even a daily chart, whenever you're dissecting your zones, you want to be cognitive of what's actually happening. You can draw a huge zone, but like, okay, what is that zone telling you? Well, it's saying there's demand somewhere in that zone. Now we can go in and find, high value points of interest. So, you have your extreme, your pivot point, which is going to be your, where, pivot point's pretty self-explanatory. Where you kind of moved up from, you could use the zone, use these last down candles. Preferably I wouldn't want to use this because it's just kind of big zone. Maybe something like right here, right? Because after, how is this demand confirmed? Well, it was first confirmed right here because you had a break of structure. We know that we have to have a break of structure to have demand introduced. That's how we confirm that we have demand. So after that point, did we see price move into this candle? No. Did we see it move into this? This is probably a 3-day order block. Yeah, 3-day order block right there, that inside bar, or next to the inside bar, forgive me. But you see price broke up and it pushed back down into it. So I wouldn't use the whole zone like that, but you could maybe refine that down to the extreme, or that's your kind of more conservative zone. Because at the end of the day, we are looking at this swing range right here. Here I can draw it a different way. We're looking at that swing range. It's under equilibrium. That's a good POI. But we know that just because a POI isn't priced well or isn't at the extreme, it doesn't necessarily mean it won't see a reaction. So if we look over here, what was really the flip zone? I see a lot of people having problems with this. They'll say this candle, but the thing is, it's not going to be in this candle because this wick pushed into it. This demand was introduced on a lower time frame. Price broke up, broke some kind of internal structure on a different time frame. Real demand was introduced in this wick, or if you want to even be crazier, you could say in that wick right there. I would personally mark the whole zone, and you can go to a 4-hour and fine. But this is where, yeah, it is. This is where, hold on, somebody's echoing in Discord. This is where we really saw price catapult from. And what it was a flip zone. So why is this an important zone? Well, we had our supply on the daily chart that we saw price pushed into this zone, right? Saw price and then we reacted, right? So we knew there's supply in this candle. Okay. Well, how exactly do we determine what a flip zone is? You guys who have been in the Discord and have taken the private classes, that we determine a flip zone whenever we have a flip of supply from a new demand zone. So price came up, reacted, and then broke through it. So what was the catalyst of that movement? And it's going to be in this wick. You could draw the whole zone if you'd like, but I like it being a little more precise and just using like kind of like common logic of where the buying really began that pushed us through. Well, it's going to be in these wicks because we know these wicks pushed back, cleaning up any low time frame sell side liquidity, giving fuel to create that demand, giving us a break of structure. So you can see the price reacted nicely off that zone. So when that happens, that we pair supply and demand zones with an internal change of character whenever we're looking to catch the beginning of a pullback. How do we know this pullback's going to end? Well, whenever price starts to change character to the downside. But looking here at AVAX, we have a daily change of character, so we could maybe indicate that the daily pullback has begun. Where are we going to see the pullback to? Well, we look for POIs at or above equilibrium. So on the daily, there's not any. On the 4-hour, looks like we've got a flip zone up here. I would just mark the whole zone. So, you could maybe watch this zone. I'll actually set alerts for this. Just watch price as it comes to that area. You might not see it go there. We might. Who knows? But I'm not going to predict that we're going to go there or try to long it to there. I get so many questions about, oh, if you have it going there, should we long to it? I mean, maybe if price were to come down here and start to reverse, then I would look to long. But if we don't get that, I'm not going to just pick we're going to go here. I'm just going to watch it if we go there. So, why is this a flip zone? Same reason we have all flip zones. We have demand. Looks like right here, this demand was already violated when that happened. but you had demand over in this region over here. We know that's going to be our extreme where we bounce from, so we know there's demand there. We reacted to it, price pulled back a little bit, and then blasted through it. And more supply was introduced within this range, followed by displacement, and that's important. With flip zones, you want to have that displacement, which is the fair value gap, imbalance, whatever you want to call it. But we know that there is institutional involvement in this candle. That's why we call those institutional candles, because they're the last candle before displacement. If you wanted to get more precise with it, you could just mark this. Personally, I would watch the entire zone. But that's where we could maybe anticipate for that daily pullback to end. Now, how could we really confirm that? Well, we wait till a 4-hour reaches here and changes character. What would be a change of character? Just a break of internal structure. For instance, if price broke down right here, that could be signaling the beginning of that 4-hour pullback. But remember, price is now bullish on the 4-hour. So we have, here's your low. Just theoretically, if that happened, this would be your high. So we come down. Where to? I don't know, maybe in a discount, in a POI after we've swept some liquidity, and then you start to see that move up, maybe into this zone, and then it's the same thing. It's just a cycle of using your swing structure to base your perspective on, give you context when you're navigating the market, and use the internal structure to determine when your pullback is going to begin and when it's going to end. So 4-hour being bullish while the daily is bearish usually indicates the daily pullback is underway. So that's something you can keep an eye on. AVAX, I like AVAX. I haven't looked at Sol since earlier this stream. We looked at it. What's up?
What's good, brother?
Oh, what's up, Flo?
You gotta check out Rune.
Rune?
That hoe looks nutty.
I remember we were watching it when it was in this zone too, but this zone looks like the one it wants. Right here.
She hit the weekly. There's a weekly RBR.
Yeah, that shit's fire.
It looks nuts. Daily BOS too.
Fuck. Oh, I'm on the daily. I just did a weekly demand. That's why. I was like, the fuck. Yeah, that shit looks good, bro. You got this breaker right here. So I said, can I please chart near? Yeah, I'll do that one next. What the fuck? Yeah, so Rune looking good on the day. Like you said, same thing. It's just this, we use these internal breaks of structure, depending on how you draw it. Maybe some drew it at this high. Me, I am more aggressive with internal structure. So if I see a candle produce a candle that breaks its low, that's high, vice versa. So for me, that was your change of character. Actually, right here, down here was your change of character. You could have caught this a while ago if you would have used that logic, and then price returned to that newly introduced demand. Price returned right into it, and then expanded from there. Why is my fucking... I need to change my template. For some reason, it's not showing on the daily for H4, but we moved up in. So now looking just at a daily chart, you could really look at this daily candle right here for a POI. That's where I would look for longs. Let's look. Where are daily ranges? Looks like it's going to be this close under it. That one's a weird one for me. I would still, it's enough of a closure for me to call it, especially when you have these lower cap coins. They're going to have a little bit fickle price action. Also, this breaker block right there is in a, what's it called? In a premium. So we could watch that weekly. Have you broke structure on the week? Yeah, no, for me to like want this to like go really high, I would need to break a structure on the weekly. So I'd have to take out this high at like, what is that?
283, 2839.
For the weekly, for me, it's 3481.
Oh, the wick, got you.
Yeah. So
I'm running the closure.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. If it closes above, I'm saying just the level is up here. Unless you're using bodies, I see you at 283 right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we get the If we get a push above that, that weekly pullback could be beginning. Then you have a crazy move ahead of you,
Oh yeah, all the way up to fucking
like $7.
7.
Yeah, literally.
7.2.
Yeah, that would be
Shit.
fucking amazing.
Yeah, benign this one. That's like 150% move. That's nutty.
And Rune fucking moves like that too, bro. Rune will pull some shit
Yeah.
like that. The last time I traded Rune, actually, the last time I tried to trade it, it ran away from me. I was gonna short it before the death crash, but it ran away. The last time I actually took a trade on it, it fucking
I think that shit mooned. I
Oh
remember
yeah,
that.
perception. You did message me. Where was this? Sorry, I've been said. Okay, he's asking about MT4 and how the leverage and position sizing works. So I'll Are you? I'm guessing you're watching because you comment on here. So just to keep it short, so think about if you first of all if you need to understand pips. If you don't understand pips, go to babypips.com or on YouTube, look up some videos on it. Think of with when you're using currencies, forex currencies. Every one lot you open is going to um, give you $10 P&L per pip. So if you have 10 lots and the price moves 10% or sorry 10 pips away from your entry, you're going to be down or up $1,000 plus your spread. So the leverage is different. There's 1 to 500, 1 to 100, 1 to 30. All depends on your broker. That's just going to be how much of your margins required to open a position. But the main thing you need to understand is pips. And I know you're saying it seems more complicated than crypto. So the reason that crypto is more complicated on MT4 is because they have different contract sizes. So if you go to the bottom left tab, like the far left tab, it's going to say quotes. Whenever you pick your crypto, click the details and it'll give you a contract size. So for instance, if Bitcoin has a contract size of 1, every one lot you're opening is 1 Bitcoin. So for every dollar Bitcoin moves, your P&L will move $1. But this can all change per broker. I know with FTMO, Ethereum and Bitcoin are both contract size 1, and the leverage is only 3.34. Or I'm sorry, 3.33 if you're on a regular account. If you're on a swing account, it's 1 to 1, so you have no leverage. But so that's crash course on it. Yeah, the contract size is what gets people with crypto. I will go ahead and say a lot of crypto is kind of like for certain brokers. Like I know Hugo's Way and um, Prosperity. I mean, unless you're swinging crypto, like don't even worry about anything except Bitcoin and Ethereum because the spreads will be terrible. FTMO spreads aren't that bad for certain stuff though.
Dude,
But
88 got me in a nice entry. I was like, damn.
yeah,
I did not expect that.
yeah, exactly, bro. Like some of them are good, but some of them some of them can be pretty rough. You have a spread of like, some are like 5,000. That's like literally fucking um you're going to be up or down like $250 fucking per micro lot.
Immediately.
It's like ridiculous. There's literally no point to even do that. Just go on
Yeah.
KuCoin. But, you know,
Might as well.
what was it? There was another Near. That's what somebody asked for. Oh, this one's been getting oh, it came down in this zone. I haven't charted this shit since literally it's been a month because this was the weekly. Last time I charted it, that was the weekly low. So you came into this weekly demand zone. This is pretty. Honestly, I would rather this come lower. The more I look at it, but you did come into this. I think it's gonna be a monthly. Yeah, I mean a monthly demand zone, but it's a really wide zone. If the rest of crypto flies, you'll see. Um, you'll definitely see a big move to the upside. Just because that's kind of how crypto is. You know what I mean? If you start to see Bitcoin, everything flying, you'll get that kind of action out of near. Personally, I would want this zone down here though. But we can leave this marked up for the daily. You wicked into that. Now the daily chart, we know the weekly's bearish, the daily's bearish as well, but we got that break of structure. So what do we expect after that? A pullback. How can we determine when that pullback is beginning? We can use a change of character, and we can also pair that with our demand zone to give us higher conviction that this is actually a pullback. So there's your daily change of character number 1. Price came back, traded into that demand zone. The demand was respected. Introduce new demand right there. We've got a new zone right there. So now you could say, the daily pullback has begun. How far will it last? We look to take it to a premium, but you're not always, it's not a guarantee. So you could chart out your POIs. So I see an institutional candle right here before the break of structure. And it's also going to be a flip zone because you tapped into this inside bar, fractal demand, reacted, blasted right through it. So that's going to be a pretty good POI. It's also an optimal trade entry if you use that. Go on the 4 hour. I mean, these zones like this, I'm not a really huge fan of them because it's almost like mimicking a flip zone, but you're really not breaking through any kind of recent levels. Maybe there's some kind of crazy demand back here though. Looks like there was some kind of rally-based rally demand, and this
Yeah,
big in a lower
Casper, when you're
time frame.
done, look at Harmony.
Got you. So I mean, I guess you could consider that a flip zone. I mean, let's see if it really went into it. Yeah, it actually looks like it did. So you could watch that zone. I mean, I'd watch it as an old demand zone. It's not really like the best POI in my opinion, but you could watch it. You could watch the up candle. You could just watch the institutional candle. But it is right at looks like it's going to be close to equilibrium. So because the daily's bearish, at the end of the day, the 4 hours bullish, but you're just playing a daily pullback, so you have to be aware that it can change any time. So, but the 4 hour for me is going to be my main. That's paramount for me. So, if the 4 hours bullish, I'm mainly looking for longs. I'm going to use my lower time frames to execute and navigate the immediate direction. But I would be more comfortable to long this if we could see a retracement. So overall, just to recap, weekly's bearish as can be, but it doesn't mean we won't see upside action. Most everything is bearish in the weekly with huge inefficiencies to fill. So, that being said, the daily pullback seems to have begun. We'd look for this to come into a daily premium and then start to sell off if we see signs of reversal in a POI. So, game plan for me with this one, if I was looking at it, I'd wait for price to come back down into one of these demand zones and start to see, 15-minute break of structure. That would be what I would be looking for to long. Or if price just blasts up to these zones, I'd be looking for a 15-minute break of structure to short. But if the 4 hour remains bullish, I will trade, in that context that we're just trading a 4 hour pullback and it could end at any time. So that's why it's really important to do your analysis across all time frames because you got to be aware of everything. If you're always just a part of a larger time frame pullback 90% of the time or a continuation. So you can get caught up in the storm, using a 15-minute only when you're oblivious to what's going on in the 4 hour of the daily. But let's see the 4 hour. Yeah, you got that break of structure right here. So, what do we expect after that? A pullback. Where do we expect it? These POIs, you have a POI up here. This isn't really a value one to me because it's already been tapped into. I'd be watching up here. That's at 446. I probably wouldn't personally really mess with it until then. That's just my style. There's probably longs and shorts to be had in between now and then. What was another one? There was another fucking coin I wanted to look at. Oh yeah, I started to. Sol. So Sol. While the overall target for me on the weekly is still going to be 18 bucks, it looks like we've we've caught enough demand. I don't know what the fuck happened to this zone. In this institutional candle right here before the really big move. I mean, this is before, Sol went fucking literally to the moon. So we know that's a high value area. We cleaned up all these inefficiencies from the major move Sol did last summer. And now we've seen, delete some of this TA. Gotta keep that chart hygiene good. Too much shit. So one thing I will say is once you start to build up this amount of liquidity, like institutions are looking at these major points like on the higher time frames. They're not on in the 15-minute. While they're leaving an algorithmic footprint there, they're not really paying attention to it. But once you start to have this much liquidity stack up to the sell side, you've got, probably your PML. Let's see. No, another PML is already taken. What am I saying? forget, it's towards the end of the month. But you've got your daily low, your weekly low, and your 4-hour low all in the same spot. Actually, no, no, no. 4-hour low has moved. So forgive me on that. I'll move that one. But your weekly low and your daily low are also sitting above sell side liquidity. And those equal lows we're talking about at 18 bucks. Seems like the daily pullback's definitely begun here with Sol. That was what was catching my eye the most. Let's see this swing structure. I would still keep this as the low personally. Um, we got a closer there, but it's like, fuck, dude. I have to look across. Let's see what it does a bit on USDT. Okay, so that will give me enough conviction. I'll take that as a break of structure. And that's another thing you can do sometimes is just switch to the USDT chart if you're on perps, because you'll see, if you see maybe if it was a liquidity right there, I wouldn't consider it a break of structure, but we saw that the candle body closed much higher. So now I've got here and then again here. So now your 4-hour range is kind of moving up, pretty bullish. Everything is expecting this. So I'm going to might not even watch these POIs as much because at that point the 4 hour is going to go bearish. I mean, I'll keep an eye on them if we come down there, but no point in paying attention to those right now, in my opinion. We've got our 4-hour low, high we haven't put in yet. You're coming up into the supply here, but actually you came into this, respected it. I'd watch this zone, see how you react to it, because you have ran some draw on liquidity right here. A lot of stops were resting above that. Closed above it though, so that's or actually no, you haven't. Still got another 20 minutes. It looks like you're probably going to though. So I'd keep an eye on this zone. The 4 hours bullish, so if you just did decide to short, you would just be playing a pullback, and the same thing. Like when we're looking at these daily pullbacks, you'd just be looking to take it somewhere around equilibrium. Another thing you can do too, that I've been using a little bit here lately, experimenting with, is you can use this fixed range volume profile to see and help you with POI selection. So really, it's just going to show you your value area where money was stepping in, and your point of control. Point of control is really not as important with crypto. I mean, it is, but I've seen it get violated too much for my liking. The main areas I like to watch are these value areas. So whenever you're selecting your POI, usually you want to be closer to one of these areas. You know, so this when I draw the fixed range, like this is why I don't like volume profile, because volume profile just shows everything on your screen. So for me, that doesn't make any sense, because it can change pretty. Like if I move over here, it's a lot of stuff. But if I'm using it for a specific swing in price, it's going to be able to tell me where money stepped in. So something I'm still toying with. Just been using the last couple of days and kind of experimenting. I'm not really using it for execution or anything, but I do like whenever I set a POI and then there is a value high there. So that kind of gives me a little extra confidence for this zone. With the 4-hour zones, you guys know I like to go in and refine. Identify where the displacement began that hasn't been satisfied. Also, we want these front running highs right here. They're not equal, but we do have an inducement high right there. And similar to the setup we got on Bitcoin. Like that's why I was very confident in that POI, was because here, I'll show you guys. We had I've been doing mentoring with this. I've been drawing so many fucking zones. We had this zone right here, right, with displacement in front of it, equal highs right above it. It was refined from a 4-hour zone, along with a couple others. So that when you have a good zone like that, it can help you, kind of develop more of a conviction for that POI if you have all the checks. So for me, it's displacement. I want to draw on liquidity to get ran. Equal highs or a clean high. I want that to get ran before I'd start to ape into a trade. And obviously we want to refine it from a higher time frame than the one we're using. This is a 15-minute zone, but it was refined from a 4-hour zone. So always important to make sure you're in context of the higher time frames. But let's go back to Sol. So that's kind of what I did here. I used the 4-hour candle, refined it to a 15-minute zone. Also, it's really close to that value area high, right under it. So just something to keep an eye on. I'm not really going to be trading much this weekend. After we hit a big trade like Bitcoin, I'm personally not really pressed to chase anything, and especially on the weekends. I like.
Can you look at one, please?
Yeah, I got you, bro. I'm gonna do it as soon as I
Pardon
get
me.
on the soul. Gotta wait on me, Shannon. But yeah, with Soul, basically to wrap it up, we've got that zone up there, 4 hours bullish. If you look to short it, you just be mindful you're playing a 4 hour pullback. So one. Oh, wow, since I charted this, we'll just start over. I like this better. Okay, so you're in this weekly demand zone. Weekly's not really showing much strength yet. So you go to the daily. So the daily for me hasn't given me much of a reason to think that we are pulling back, because if you see, here is our internal high. Actually, no, that's right here, that inside bar. If you're going to be aggressive with it. So we've got inside bar, we got that break of structure, price pulled back into some demand down here without taking out the internal low. So the daily still bullish on an internal level. We haven't got that second confirmation from breaking that newly introduced demand or supply, but it's the start of the signs of a daily pullback. Your daily range is going to be this right here. Institutional candle there. So let's go to the 4 hour. So it'll be really your 4 hour range hasn't broke yet. There. That's your 4 hour swing range. We've got daily's changed character, but your 4 hour swing structure is still bearish. So personally, for me, I wouldn't be looking for longs here, just based off my style, just because I'm not going to really trade against the trend too much. Maybe something intraday, but if anything, you're in this 4 hour supply zone. Not really the best POI. It did cause breaks of internal structure, but you ran under these equal lows, so you swept a lot of sell side. 15 minutes bullish coming up into it, but you did just get a change of character right here. Change of character, price broke down, price pushes back up into this institutional candle there. Could probably refine that. Probably wouldn't take shorts on it either, but if you're asking about it for longs, I would chill on it personally. I think there's a lot of better looking charts for like swings if you're that's the vibe you're going on. What exactly were you looking at on here?
I was just looking to swing it, honestly.
True.
I had some equity that's sitting. I just want some that's like low, that it's not like a shit coin.
Right, and one's a good project. Fundamentally from what I've heard. I'm not like a huge Harmony guy, but I've heard good things about it. So if you're looking at it from a fundamental perspective, and you're looking at it like, oh, okay, this hasn't started to fly yet, and I think crypto's going to fly. I see what you're saying. Personally, I'd wait, just because the weekly's bearish, the daily's bearish, the 4 hours bearish. So while other coins are kind of seeing money pump into them and seeing value flow into them, this isn't yet. So while it could just be a sleeping giant and take off, personally I would wait. But that's just me, just because I want to wait for more confirmation.
Appreciate that.
What I will
Yeah, I was
say,
looking at things that haven't like blown up yet.
yeah, exactly. And that there's nothing wrong with that strategy at all. It's just not the way personally I'd play it. You know what I mean? So like what I see here though is this is going to be considered a weak high, possibly. So you might see that get ran. But we haven't really changed character on the 4 hour level just yet. So like say if you got above this high, I would maybe look for a return up into this zone, or even this to get ran, because this high didn't do its job if price pushes back up. Because we saw the 4 hour pullback begin right here, because you got your break of structure over here. It's the highest point up here. So then come down, get that internal change of character that signals the pullback's beginning. But then what do you get shortly after? Internal break of structure to the downside. Price pushes up, not really all the way into the supply I would have wanted it to, but pushed up into something, filled this inefficiency that was right here, and then you saw another break of structure to the downside, followed by another. So now you're seeing bearish order flow in the 15-minute. Most likely, I know this zone over here we've kind of pushed up, but at this point I would be kind of chilling on this one. But if you believe in it fundamentally, you think crypto is going to pump, I see the strategy there. It's totally up to you. I personally, I think that AVAX and Sol look better than fucking anything right now. Like, no bullshit. But that could just be, we could just be flying up to these zones to mitigate. Another thing I want to go over. Glad I just remembered this. DXY. So this is AXS, if you will. Yeah, sure. That quick first. Got a weekly break, or no, weekly, a 4-hour breaker block you're in right now. A pretty nasty one right there. Also a flip zone. If anything, I'd probably be looking to short this. I'm not going to trade it just because I've been focusing on majors, but I don't know. This actually looks pretty good. If you start to break down here, dude, I would maybe even take a short on this. And I haven't been trading alts. Haven't got really everything I need yet. But let's see. Can I mute you? Yeah, I got you, bro. You are unmuted, Atufi.
Thank you. Hey, I was just gonna ask you if you could take a look at Link.
Yeah, sure. I got you.
I have my own TA, and if you want to critique it and tell me what you would change, I would appreciate it.
Hell yeah. Let's do it. Let me do this one first, then I got you.
I'll just drop it in the stream chat.
Cool. So here with AXS, we've got a breaker block. We have this demand zone over here that failed. We also have a flip zone right there. Price seems to be reacting to it. We also ran these highs right here. We had some equal highs, relatively equal here. A lot of buy side liquidity was removed. And then if we go to the 15-minute, God, this is gonna make me want to trade this shit. We haven't got what I need just yet, but really looking at this, what I'd be watching for is a break of this low right there. Price to come up on the 1-minute, confirm bearish again, and I'd short it from there most likely. I might actually keep an eye on this. I'm gonna be kind of chilling out, playing some Rust, but might take some shorts. Be counter trend to the 4-hour because, like you said, I see what you're saying when you say it looks like AXS because we broke structure here. So that was really your 4-hour break of structure because here was our old swing range right here. That was your strong. Well, now you're strong low, and your high right there. So where can we look for a retracement to? Well, we can draw a fib on the new price move and look for these POIs that are in a discount. So you could look for really this demand zone. I don't get greedy whenever I'm trading counter trend. I'm real conservative. Like I'll take profits a lot earlier than sometimes they should have been taken, whatever, but I'm fine with that. So this is how you build a narrative. We know the weekly's bearish, we know the daily's bearish, the 4-hour has switched bullish, but we can anticipate that was just the beginning of the daily pullback. We might see some move down. Yeah, perception. Yeah, I play Rust. Not like a crazy good. 6,000 hours, you're a demon. That's crazy. I have probably 100, maybe. Not even. I don't even know. I know Playboy was talking about maybe getting an official PlayBit Rust server, which would be fucking awesome. Daily pullback. I mean, this breaker, I wouldn't see this as the ultimate reversal point, but I definitely like it because it's got my checklist, right? We are in a POI. Maybe if it even would come a little higher, I'd like it more, to be honest. Because if I draw this breaker, we've got that, but I really would like it to come somewhere up into here. But theoretically, you're in that zone if you're using the range supply. It's that last little internal range right there. So I mean, you're there, and the highest value would be up in here. You might get a false signal. 15-minute breaks down and then pushes. Let's look on. I'm gonna refine this a little bit, and then I'm gonna move to Atufi. What was? I'll have to look in stream chat. I know you said the coin, but my mind's completely fucking blank. Honestly, both of these POIs look good. Yeah, it would be dope if you did the Rust server perfection or perception. Keep saying I want to say perfection. Personally, these are the two POIs I'd be watching. It looks like it did react to that one. That's your institutional candle flip zone. So when we look, the reason I like these candles is because, we had price form this demand. It's almost like what we were looking at the 4 hours. So I just want you to look at this. We have this demand in this candle, and it's a failed demand zone, right? We also have this right inside of it. Price came to demand, right? It bounced off of it, and then you see heavy displacement. See this wick right here? Huge run. And the only reason that wick is because it cleaned out a lot of liquidity. That was a massive break of structure. Another reason why I like the zone. Displacement after it. I'm not really the greatest draw on liquidity right in front of it, but you do have some equal highs down here. So liquidity has been swept recently. So I'd watch both of those zones. If you start to get a 15-minute break of there you go. Right, like right that. I'll keep an eye on this. But let me go to stream chat so I can see where you link. That's what it was. I remembered it now as I was looking at it. Chain link. It's TA. Went farther than I wanted it to. It's been a while since. Did it even break its 4-hour low? I still want it to come down to this zone eventually. It's $5 zone. I'll go ahead and just delete it and do it from the top though. So I see yours. So I'm gonna look at yours first 4-hour. So I'll show you one thing that I would have done differently, personally. The choach you have that's right here. So I would have said, if you were using that mapping style, I would have said this was the high because it was the first candle to break a low. So that would have been that. And then I also would have said that this was your actual internal high. Because when I'm looking at internal structure, I look at it on a candle to candle basis because we know, what is a candle's job? It's, what's a low's job is to break a high, vice versa. So we know here we have a high because we broke a low right there. So we come down, break lows until we don't. So here's the part. This is the beginning of a pullback. And then we have a new leg in price because we broke that low. So here was your internal change. And then if you see, price right here happened very quickly. Here was your demand zone. Price came up, went right back into it immediately. And this is where you could have said on a 15-minute, you know, the replay. On a 15-minute, once price came into here, oh, the 15-minute switched bullish. This is if you're layering it. Let's see if price even came back down into this zone or not. Yep, see what it did. So there you go. That's how you use the 4 hour. So that's how you could have gotten that a little more aggressive. That's what I see a lot of people I work with. They're kind of using the choach a little late because the choach change of character is meant to be aggressive. You got to be aggressive. So it's like you're looking at it for a practical perspective of like when is a high taken, because that's showing us, BFIs have bullish intention. So that being said, also when you look at the 4 hour, let's see. Jesus Christ, what a fucking swing range. This was your swing range in the 4 hour, the way I would have personally drawn it. So you broke down there. So really, you got a massive fucking range. But, because this is all bearish theoretically, but this is going to be a weak high right there. So that's probably going to get clapped. Because we didn't move into a premium. We did move into a premium a little bit, actually, right at equilibrium. But this high failed to do its job and take out the weak low. So now it is a weak high. So that could be targeted. This is how you build that story. You know what I mean? We know the 4 hours is bearish. We know the daily is bearish. Weekly is bearish. But we have this weak high. Price is changing structure, changing character. You've also got demand. I see you marked an H1 demand zone right here. I would have done a little different because to me, that got cleared right there. Whatever was in there got swept. So now I move it over because new demand's introduced. So bam, then maybe something's in this wick, right? Okay, it tapped here. I guarantee this is an inducement low. So we can go into like a 15-minute and see what was actually down here. Okay. This would be really your order block, ICT logic. It was when the sell side was beginning to be offered. So now price moved down. Let's see if this is the zone we reacted to. It is. We respected it, filled it to a T, and then new demand was introduced on that 4 hour right there. But we know that because we have a break of structure. Price came up, wicked right back into it. That 15-minute gave you confirmation. You could have took a trade in there targeting, weak highs, equal highs, whatever you want to target. You did just remove a shitload of fucking, like, all these equal highs just got swept today. So keep an eye on that, because you are bearish in the 4 hour. You don't want to just take it to Valhalla here. I know Playboy got you guys some nice gains on this. I know you guys have taken some trims too, but personally, it looks like you're still engineering the buy side up here. I think I said sell. I always say fucking sell side when I'm trying to say buy side. I'm just so used to fucking the sell side being engineered lately. But it looks like you're leaving some equal highs. So, we might be expecting a little bit of a pullback. 15-minute, you got to break a structure right here. Also remove that liquidity, so you could expect a pullback. It seems like this might have been a liquidity raid, because see how we didn't close above it. And then you have this ICT setup, which would be on the 1 minute or the lower time frames above that old 15-minute high or structural liquidity. You push up, and then you see that internal change of character with displacement. It'd actually be right here. And you got faked out once here, because we came up here. Here was your internal low. Probably didn't get stopped, because you could have taken a trade, scalp trade. You could have taken it just in this fair value gap. Stop loss above this high, you would have got pipped to meet, like, literally it has equal highs there. But it's literally 6182 or 6812. But you guys know we always do 3 pips, so that's kind of why we do that. So you would still be in the trade here, or theoretically you took the second sell because there was more obvious displacement and you never really got in yet. So, but looks like a liquidity raid. The 15 minutes due for a pullback. Also on the weekly, whenever we have this kind of stuff down here, this is my weekly target. Like, I'm personally not going to be satisfied until we get down here. I want that. So now I'm not saying I wouldn't long it ever, but this is where I would want price to return to, down into this range. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But the TA looks good. It looks good. The 4 hours or the H1 supply you're in right now. I don't really use the 1 hour. I don't like it. The reason I like using the time frames I do is because they're kind of equally fractal. My main time frames I use, because we have 16 15-minute candles in a 4 hour candle. And then we also have 15 1-minute candles in a 15-minute candle. So the fractal nature of price that we're perceiving is proportional. So, if I'm looking at 16 data sets on a 4 hour, okay, I'm looking at 15-minute, I'm looking at 15 data sets of my execution time frame. That's just how I personally do it. And I also like simplicity. I don't want to have fucking 50 time frames. I think that just causes you to force shit. Overall, looking at this 4 hour though, I like this zone up here. I love these inside bars. You'd be taking out that weak high, draw on liquidity, displacement filled. I mean, that'd be ideal fucking area. I'm actually gonna set alerts for this too. You guys got me looking at alts again. Oh, I'm in fucking replay mode. Hold on. Oh, that's funny. I was in replay. It did get taken already. That's fucking funny. I was looking at your chart and I was like, kind of looks different. Maybe he's in a 1 hour. No, okay. So that's actually pretty funny. I still like this zone though. But the weak high, I guess that just proves the point. It did get taken, but we didn't close above it. And you see this massive displacement in the market afterwards. That was I think this is where we were just marking those fucking shorts and shit over was. But or maybe that was I don't know what coin that was, or if it was this one. But you've got this supply zone now, the one you draw. This makes more sense now. We haven't really got what I would want. You gotten faked out a couple times. This is why I like refining zones, because for instance, if you didn't refine the zone, you had a valid sell off this area. You probably price came up into your zone. You started to see that 1 minute break of structure. You maybe caught somewhere, you made a little money, but probably didn't. And then it pushed back up. happened again here, but it's all because when you look at, it's a very clear area where the selling really started. I mean, that candle, and none of these candles had reached it, but you do see that here. Now you're kind of seeing that sign of, that first sign of weakness. Price is introduced new supply. Now the 1 minute already came into it. This already gave an entry. So for instance, after it came into this zone, like this up here, I would have just market shorted it on that right there. That'd be enough for me because the 4 hours bearish. We cleared the week high, you removed your liquidity. You have this internal low getting taken out on the 15-minute right over here. The 1 minute returns to origin, and now we go down. That's kind of the logic I would see there. I want to see if Bitcoin, what is it doing? It came so close to stopping out the runners. I'm gonna laugh if this just fucking pisses from here. That'd be hilarious. And this is a great example of a liquidity raid setup too. So you have price pushing up above that high, that structural liquidity on the 15-minute swing high. And what does it do? Pushes up. It didn't even close a 1 minute candle there. This is literal fucking straight out of ICT. Break of internal structure right there with displacement. The fill of the IPA. I mean, it's like perfect. You know what I mean? So, and that would lead you to target. Usually, that's used on indices or forex, and you'd usually target just liquidity below. You've got pretty clear draw on liquidity right there, equal lows. So, if this nature continues, you'll probably see this cleared out. You've also got demand right under it. So that's seems like a pretty good narrative to me. See something like this just moving down, and then that's where your decisional point would be if you were going to reverse. You get that same style, that same setup, just the lower time frame internal break of structure. That's really going to be your best friend. But the 4 hours is still bearish. So somebody said, can I show an example of a BOS after tapping into a supply zone that I'd enter off of? Yeah, we'll go over to the trade. We gave this live on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. What was the day? 21st. So that was on Tuesday. So with Bitcoin, we had identified our POI. We refined it from a 4 hour zone. We had our 15-minute zone over here. Right before, it was a flip zone. So we broke through that demand. I love flip zones. We had displacement and we had equal highs. So we had our draw on liquidity front running our zone. Nice supply zone right here. So once price came up into it, we engineered more buy side liquidity here. Price ran up into it. We did this live. As soon as this price broke down, we had an opportunity. At that point, I have every reason to look for a short. It's all my checks. It's like, okay, check draw on liquidity cleared, price in higher time frame POI, internal break of structure. Now I'm on the 1 minute. We got stopped out once because we didn't refine the zone. I don't ever refine that first 15-minute zone. I just do the candle. Price went up into it. We were watching. We broke structure once, and I was waiting to see if we tap into here or if we broke this low first, whichever one happened. Accompanied by bearish structure, I would enter. We entered here. We got stopped out right here, but that's okay. Losses are part of it. And then we waited for price to pull up into a refined zone. Same thing. We broke structure, entered the trade. Here, I'll go ahead and turn this on so you can see it. Here was the first trade we took right there. We got stopped out almost immediately. So, okay, people were like, oh my gosh, but it's part of it. If you're using low time frames for execution, you're going to have that happen. You just have to be convicted in your POI and in your strategy. It's important to know what's up if you're going to use low time frames. But we then see that price immediately. That's how you know you had a good zone. We watched that. This is the newly introduction of true supply coming in the market. We have our high time frame supply respected, followed by an introduction of our 15-minute supply, right? Followed by an introduction of our execution supply, which then gives us, that's where we enter the trade. No thoughts, no emotions. If you lose, whatever. We entered, and you can see it worked out super nice. We secured 20R on that, and it's still open. I would fucking die if this just stayed right there and just Bitcoin just tanked. That'd make my fucking night. But 20R secured off a setup like that, and you're not gonna get that every day, but you hit one of those a week, you're gonna be making great money over time. Somebody said, where would you place the stop loss? Depending on whatever time frame you're using for execution, you're going to place it above, and everybody has different styles. For me, I was over here on the 1 minute. I just placed the stop loss above my original POI. So this was the 15-minute POI. Some people would have placed the stop a little tighter, like this. They would have placed that right there. Personally, with crypto, the risk to reward was good. It really depends on my target. Maybe if my target was really close, I would have had a tighter stop. But I'm playing the higher time frame story, so we didn't really need to have much more. I mean, this is a 0.4% stop loss, so I just used the newly introduced supply on the 15-minute. I used that high. Let's see if some people other ask me some stuff. AXS. One just got hacked for 1 mil. Oh shit, Hunter, I just saw that. Okay, well, there you go, Shannon. I wouldn't buy no equity in that. It's probably
Yo, that's glitch as fuck, bro.
Yeah, good shit, Hunter. That's probably a great reason why. Like what I was saying. Oh yeah, somebody's posting it below. The Harmony team has identified a theft occurring this morning on the Horizon Bridge, amounting to approximately
125x shorts.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's pathetic. Oh, somebody asked for Wi-Fi. My bad, dude. Literally, when I say dude, that's this guy's name. For people watching YouTube, his name's the dude. I haven't looked at fucking Wi-Fi in a grip, dude. Oh my god, this shit is fucking under 10K. Yeah, I know whenever Andre left crypto, this probably took a fucking beating. That was over here. Jesus Christ, bro. This is where you initially switched bearish there. They break a structure.
Who's Andre?
Andre Cron, she was like the fucking godfather of DeFi, is what they call him. He helped with he helped start YFI, I think. I don't know if he started it. Let's see. He's a developer. Like he's like a genius. Like with I don't want to read all of this. I don't think he's the actual like owner, the only guy. He had a partner, this Danny guy, but they basically. Oh, he is the founder of YFI. Sorry. So there you go. But he helped with FTM, all of DeFi basically. He kind of really just spearheaded a lot of the concepts behind liquidity pools. Really the ideas for DeFi. Dude's a fucking goat, but he basically backed out of crypto. Said he's done it like 3 times. Like you could see that one. Like, hold on. He's literally like had this public fucking this is LinkedIn. It's the first thing that comes up. But he's had these public fucking departures with crypto like multiple times, like out DeFi again. So he's done this shit because he just says he hates the way that crypto, what it's become. He hates how there's like so many scams, and I see what he means because he created DeFi, and then DeFi is just like there's a ton of fucking bullshit with DeFi. But I personally wouldn't even do anything except maybe trade this on leverage. I would never think about holding equity in it. But you've got your weekly high. Let's see the monthly because it might not. Yeah, you've already cleared your PML. Weekly break of structure. So we've got our weekly range.
Can you imagine 5xing Wi-Fi all the way up to 90K, bro?
There was somebody. A lot of you newer guys don't know. His name's Luciano. If you go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He got Wi-Fi like $30, bro.
Yeah, that shit's crazy.
Yeah. I was like telling people to buy it, like $30 fucking dollars.
That's some wild ass shit.
Yeah, bro. It went to like 100K, didn't it? Yeah, 95K.
Not
Dude,
90 something.
Me and
yeah,
Glacier, bro. Dude, you can go back and play with it. It was whatever this week. We were literally shorted Wi-Fi like up here, bro, and got wicked out by like 1%, and then this happened. So it was fucking true pain. I'll never forget. That's literally the last time I traded this coin, and not for that reason, but that's
sad.
I remember it. So weekly.
That's so sad.
Yeah, it was terrible. Thing of the weekly here You have no hope. Like, we're talking about changes of character. Literally, this is where your change of character is. So you need to make another low. You need to clear out this low to even have a hope of having any kind of weekly structure. This is one of those coins where I look at it, I'm like, this shit might actually be going to fucking zero, just because you know, they're hella behind. Like, they were the leaders of DeFi at one point. You know, they're absolutely just completely falling behind. The greatest mind behind their team is gone. You know, on top of that, DeFi is really not the hottest space whenever crypto is fucking dying. So, I mean, with that being said, you got weekly supply up here. Weekly's bearish. The daily, I don't even know what the fuck to say about, like, is this a pullback? You know, it's like, fuck, bro. I would almost say this is your swing range on the daily, I guess. When I see stuff like this, personally, I stay away from it because I just don't like the price action. And there's so much stuff to trade where I'm like, if I feel, I used to try to like force it, but I don't know. I don't really care enough to do that anymore. But there's so many coins out there to trade. So looking at this, you know, you've got your daily change of character right here. You just rocket ship up. You cleared out a lot of this buy side liquidity, these relatively equal highs. Daily institutional candle right above it. 4 hour hasn't really got a change of character. I mean, dude, that shit is disgusting. Look at that, right off that fucking institutional candle. The 4 hour refined from the daily institutional candle. Why is my volume not working? Okay, there it goes. Dude, yeah, there's, honestly, it'd probably be a nice ass short. I mean, not here. I wouldn't chase it, but I don't know. For me, I mean, until my Bitcoin short, like the runner gets stopped, I'm really just not pressed to like search for other plays right now. But I will say that fucking AXS looked spicy, bro. I'm not even gonna cap. Yeah, as far as Wi-Fi, to recap it, probably the worst chart we've looked at tonight. This looks like a huge scam pump, clearing out those relatively equal highs right into that 4 hour inside bar. Definitely got the reaction. You got the highest volume you've had all year by like twice. So, yeah, take that. I mean, that would be a scam pump if I ever saw one. You know, you traded what, about 48,000 YFI when your average is probably like, I don't know, let's see, 5,000. So, you know, exit liquidity. I don't know. Andre's about to dump the bag on you. But I mean, you maybe could short this. Honestly, it's pretty good. I would wait for a return up. You know, so like, what would have been the trigger? Would have been, okay, here's your internal low. Got to really the first one, super aggressive. I don't like this was no, actually no, it was right here. So internal break of structure right there. You know, wherever you deemed there was supply in here, you know, you could have just said the last up candle. Could have used this whole zone. Could have refined it. I would have probably just did something like this because I'm not gonna play that. I'm gonna play the 1 minute when it comes into that zone. So then we look, okay, price, you know, after the break of structure, not over here. So after the break of structure, when we come to the zone here, did we sweep liquidity? Absolutely. Are you in a refined zone? Yes. So, you know, at that point, seems like when are you going to get a sign of weakness? Not there. Right here, you got it. So then you would look for your supply. Would be these last two candles. But you got wicked out if you use a stop here. Weird price action for if you wanted to use a wide stop. You know, that's what I was saying earlier, like with the Bitcoin trade. Ideally, like using the same concept on the Bitcoin trade, my stop would have been like fucking up here, right? But here's the thing, that may look fucking ugly when you look like this. But remember, we're looking to short the fuck out of this shit. So it's like those huge stops. Don't worry about percent. Literally, percent means absolutely fucking nothing. That means absolutely nothing. You know, if you have a 5% stop loss, that doesn't matter if your target is fucking, you know, however many, you know, Let's just see where this would be. If we just shorted to equilibrium of this range, it's probably going to be a little less. See, I wouldn't take it. I mean, it's a 4R, but for a 4R to be that big of a move and, that much work with the 1 minute, but theoretically it's a good trade. So to have, everything's proportional. So if you have a position that you're up 300% on, does it really matter if your stop loss was 100%? It's like, that's the same thing as taking a 3R trade, which you can catch intraday, that takes 20 minutes. So with this, I wouldn't really mess with it. Everybody looks at it like, oh, dude, this is going to dump. It's like a huge movement, but that goes both ways. Like the sooner you get percents out of your head, the more money you're going to make. The only percent you want to worry about is your actual portfolio growth, not your position growth. What's Bitcoin doing? Pushing back up. Bitcoin's been strong lately. When you're coming through this zone, I'm kind of just anticipating these lows get taken, but I don't know if we'll rush up above. I was honestly surprised right here. I was pretty surprised when we didn't clear above that, because you're forming kind of like these relatively equal highs too. So you're really engineering both sides of the range. Right there, you get equal highs, you got equal lows. But to me, where I get biased is, okay, well, what's my 4-hour telling me? 4 hours telling me we're bearish. So, I mean, until we break above this high, I'm bearish on the 4-hour. So I'm going to lean bearish. When you're using liquidity rates, you definitely want to use it with the higher time frame context in mind. But also when I look here, the swing range we have right now for me, this is why I like using candle closures. We have right here, we had a liquidity raid, right? Look at that. Just 2 liquidity raids. So everybody's looking like, and this is just different styles. People are going to say, here, here, here. But to me, all of this is just weak lows because they didn't create a new high by my standards. My standard, I need to close, which I'm not getting. So if the lows aren't doing their job and they're equal, so they're engineering retail stop losses, we've also got this trend line liquidity. I really wouldn't even worry about that right there, actually. But I got those equal lows right above this demand. So even if we are to remain bullish, I'd almost want price to come down here. We'll see. Like I said, I'm not really going to chase a trade over the weekend, especially while we're still in one. We've had a great week. So I know between Playboy's call, Flo's call, and my call, you have no fucking reason to be degenning through the weekend. Absolutely no reason. So yeah, guys, on that note, I'm going to hop off here and enjoy my Friday night. I encourage you guys to do the same. I appreciate you all coming through as always. Any more questions, just at me, chat, tweet me, YouTube, comment, whatever the hell you want to do, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. But until Monday, actually, no, sorry, guys. For those of you on PlayBit, we'll be doing our class tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. So I will see you guys there. Peace.